wasting my time with too many reflections. Yeah. And since you've been gone, I've been trying to fix me. And I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm getting there. Lately I've seen you on television.
In our current global climate, we're facing challenges never before experienced by this generation. Oppositions where no one seems to have clear directions or answers to the risks facing us. Confrontations like racial and gender unrest, political gerrymandering, toxic leadership, economic crisis, global pandemic, health threats, pre-existing medical conditions, isolation, boredom, and loneliness are driving people to desperation. As a result, people are confused, afraid, anxious, and perplexed, and they need answers to tough questions and even tougher situations. They are looking into different outlets for answers to gain assurance and consolation. Some have drawn closer to the embrace of family, while others look more towards their friendships, education, and even religion. What we need is a fresh voice of truth and clarity, and not a stale religious echo from the past. There's a re-emerging voice on the horizon that isn't afraid to stand alone and give spiritual and mentally sound direction to a world searching for answers. G. Alfred Palmer offers a voice of sound human development and empowerment to those willing to hear. There's a need for new ideas to old principles, a perspective from a timeless origin, but with current vision, a thought leader who understands what it means to stand alone and speak truth when some are hard of hearing. But if you've been waiting to hear a voice that opens the gates of freedom and breaks the shackles of confusion to allow you to step forward into the dawning of a new and exciting future, then it's time to bridge the gap with Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. He is a dynamic speaker, thought leader, and entrepreneur, equipped to elevate, expand, and extend the development, empowerment, and leadership of his audiences. He stands ready to speak at your next event. His delivery is guaranteed to refresh, entertain, and transform. G. Alfred Palmer bridges the gap from uncertainty to the purpose, to passion, and leadership. Book him today for your next event, and you won't be disappointed.
Greetings, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Red Hot Mic. I am your host, G. Alfred Palmer, and here's a toast to you the most. Best wishes and best to you and yours. Again, pomegranate juice. You know that's what we do. We do pomegranate juice. We don't do anything else here on the air. Listen, I'm excited about this broadcast tonight. There is a lot going on, as you know, and I know that there's a lot going on in the news. There's a lot going on in the world. Let me get rid of some of these lights. Let's do that real quick. Get rid of those right there for me, and that helps a lot. Okay, so there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot that we're seeing happening in our community, culture, and clan. And it's because of that that I wanted to come and address some things that I see as a watchman and as a person that is established as a barometer, a cultural barometer relative to what's going on in our community. Do I have all the answers? No, but I just give what I've been giving, nothing more, nothing less. So I'm coming tonight with to talk about the position, the purpose, the power, plan, and pursuit of America's legal system. What we're seeing now in the last week or so has been the rulings of the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has has released some land mark decisions and rulings relative to um, how things would be done within our culture, community, and clan for many years and to come. Um, and those things have set off a fire of backlash and of animosity and of anger and of angst. There's been people that have been really upset with what the Supreme Court has passed down. We're going to talk about those things specifically in the coming broadcasts, but I want to talk tonight about the. I want to talk specifically about the Supreme Court and the legal system within these United States. Now, before we go any further, I need you to do me a favor. As we get ready to ruminate, elevate, and to activate, I need you to help me by subscribing, liking, sharing, and hitting the notification bell so that you would know when there's other content to be released. I'm going to take a second to allow you to do that, and I'm going to wait. Excuse me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing that for me. It's important that in order for me to be able to continue to do this, that you support it. And with your support comes increased algorithms to allow other people to see and to hear the message that I believe that I've been given. Well, as usual, when we start, the first thing we want to start with is our fragrance of the evening, which is a new one. It's a new scent from Scents of Wood, Cypress and Oak. Now, I'm not a real woodsy kind of guy as far as fragrances, so this is going to be a stretch for me, but I'm going to give it a shot. And let's again. I normally don't put these on until I come on the air, so I don't have a clue what they smell like, or anything. So I'm going to do this in front of you. Wow, now that's good. Now it says here, scents of wood, and it says cypress and oak, bringing to life the French coastline where cypress trees are splashed by the salty sea air, and the warmth of the sun evoke natural feelings of comfort. This fragrance creates a feel of coastline paradise. A variety of high-quality cedar wood enveloped days spent in the summer sand. The last mouth-watering hint of authentic vanilla bean leaves an everlasting impact of utter happiness on the skin. And so we're talking about cypress oil, fir, balsam, cedar, wood, amber, and oak mass. Now, let me tell you, I am, again, like I said, I'm not a real oak, woodsy kind of guy, but I would say this is pretty good. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that I like this. It's very soft. It doesn't last, and it's not very pronounced. It is rather mild, and it definitely gives an airy sense, definitely an airy sense, and I definitely a sense of comfort, a sense of just chilling. Yeah, it's definitely a good scent, a relaxed scent. I think this is the kind of scent that you could wear to work and it not be the kind that would just blow people out of the water when you come into a room. It's very gentle, and it's very, but it's very effective. And I do sense the vanilla bean. Yeah, it has a vanilla kind of smell, but it also has an oaksy kind cedar wood or woodsy kind of smell. So it is a very likable scent. And again, it is called Scents of Wood, Cypress and Oak. I like it. So you might want to check it out. Okay. All right. Well, yes, I want to talk as we get ready to go to the answer wheel. It's one thing that we really need to look at is what's going on. What's going on in the United States and around the world? We have some very trying times, or very it's very trying for a lot of people, because the amount of people that are coming out against some of the rulings that have come out has been really, really mind-blowing. Here in the nation's capital, there's been a lot of protests and a lot of angry sentiment expressed behind the Roe v. Wade reversal. But that is not the only thing that's happening. I mean, even though we've focused in on that, there are a number of other issues around gender, around guns, right? Around prayer, right? There's a number of things that we've got to be really conscious of. I believe I'm missing one that is very gained a lot of attention as well. What's the other one? I wrote it down. The Miranda rights. That's the one. That's another one that has come out. There's a lot going on, and it's. I think that it's something that needs our attention, and needs our discussion around, and also to give us a sense of universal and spiritual guidance and viewpoints. So that's what I'm going to try to do tonight, is give you that, a little bit of that. I'm not trying to be all profound, but I just want to share some things that I believe that I see as I stand upon the wall. But as we always do, we want to go to our answer wheel, because we do like the answer wheel, don't we? And so let's bring up the answer wheel. Let's see if we can, for this time, do it the right way. In there too. Seems like lately we've been getting a lot of maybes, and I don't know how you feel about the maybes. But if you look at the idea of maybes in line with what's going on in our nation currently, maybe is a good answer. Maybe is a good answer, but I don't know. We're going to allow the answer wheel to speak again, and as usual, what we do, we don't try to make it say anything, but just give you an answer to what you've been looking for or what you've been experiencing. Because some of us have questions. We really have questions about certain things that are going on in our lives. And with that, we want to be able to answer those particular questions. And so what I want to do is give the answer wheel a whirl, and I don't touch it. I don't do anything to it. I allow it to stop, and when it does, it normally stops on one of the answers here, and it stops when the answers are no way, try again, ask a friend, yes, maybe, and definitely. And so these answers are some answers that maybe it's a question that you have, a situation you're facing. And so this answer gives you an opportunity for you to get an answer to your question. Now, for some people say, this is a problem. Well, then you're right, it is. But if you're a person who says that I choose to believe and I choose to receive, then you can too do that as well. So it's up to you. It's up to you how you choose to receive this time. I just wanted to be a time between you and the universe, just for me to step back and allow the universe to speak to you relative to something that you're going through, something that has been perplexing you and that you have been wrestling with. So here we go. And I'm hoping that tonight we can try to get a good little swing here, because, and you see it goes around. And again, I don't have my hands over here, so I have nothing to do with it. But I'm going to allow it to answer you. What is that question? That thing that you've been dealing with lately? Well, and tonight, it looks like it's going to say definitely. Well, definitely is a very strong word, isn't it? It's a very strong word. Let me get rid of this. Definitely is a very strong word, because definitely leaves no doubt. It definitely is stronger than yes, isn't it? Yes is kind of like yes, but definitely leaves or brings with it some emotion. It brings with it some real oomph with it, to say that right there. And it's important that you understand that right there is your answer. There's no equivocation. There's no shakiness about it. That right there, definitely. So what is it? What is that answer for you? What is it that definitely, that the answer will give you tonight? Something that you're dealing with. Something. And I'm looking forward to you working on that definitely. Well, that's another session of the answer wheel. I hope you enjoyed it, because I do. I really do look forward to the answer wheel, because it does add a different part to the show that I'll be honest, it just happened. I didn't make that happen. I believe that it's something that I believe the universe says that would give an opportunity for you to really hear and to really experience the universe, in a very personal way. Okay, well, a lot going on, right? We're seeing so much happen in our legal system that is really changing the way we live our lives. It's changing the way that we can live our lives. But for some of us, it won't affect us. And so that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about these landmark decisions, but those are going to come up in some other broadcasts. But I want to talk about the Supreme Court, because I think it's important that we gain a better understanding of what the Supreme Court does. Now, I'm not going to give you a social studies kind of investigation. I'm going to touch some of those things, but more of it is going to be more of things that how it affects our community, culture, and clan, using science and using the 8 elements of masculine evolution. Remember those? We talked about them time and time again. As my jumping off point, and why I come to the consensus that I do relative to what I'm going to speak about. There's a lot of people right now that are angry and frustrated. They don't want to accept the rulings that have come down. They don't want to accept the rulings that have come down from the Supreme Court relative to some of the different areas that we've mentioned. The Miranda, gender, abortion, prayer, right? And guns. Don't forget the guns. Lord have mercy, don't forget the guns. So these are areas that are really, really been addressed by the Supreme Court. And it seems like, it may seem to many that the Supreme Court just shoved all these things down our throats at the last minute, but this is the normal time, mid-June, that the Supreme Court normally releases their rulings. So it's really the proper time, or the usual time, or the normal time of year that they do release their rulings. Now, the rulings that they ruled on are game changers. They really are, if you really look at them. And so we want to talk about those in subsequent broadcasts. But right now, I want to talk about the Supreme Court. I want to talk about what we talk about the position, purpose, power, plan, and pursuit of the American legal system, right? Or the Supreme Court, because that is the bedrock for not so much establishing, but maintaining the legality and the legitimacy of certain rulings and laws in this country. So again, we come to the red hot mic, and there's a lot of things that we want to touch, and that's why we call it the red hot mic, because we want to talk about hot topics, things that really have some real effect in the people's lives, and how those things that we're looking at, and how they really affect our lives as we take a different perspective on them, and see how we can continue to elevate, extend, and expand, and excavate into this place called Earth, to establish, to sustain, and maintain our dominion. Okay, because we are the ones that's supposed to do that. Now, I need your assistance to help this message to go further, because without your assistance, it won't. So I need you to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell for the Red Hot Mic. Would you do that? I'm going to ask you to do that a couple more times, but would you do that for me right now? I really would appreciate it. I need your assistance. I need your help. I'm asking for help. You know, a lot of times they say men don't ask for help. Well, this man is asking for help. I need your help. I realize the need that I have for you. I'm not of the mindset that I don't need you. I know I need you very much. And right now, I need you to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell. That's what I need. Because what I'm going to share in these upcoming broadcasts are critical to the mentality of each and every one of us. You know, me too. I am not excluded. I am no one special. I am, like you, have to take what's being said, because what's being said is it's not me. It's not me. It's I believe, the universe conveying what needs to be conveyed, as being a watchman that is standing upon the wall and looking out and seeing what's happening. Okay, so let's talk about the position of the legal system, or the Supreme Court. Let's talk about the Supreme Court. When we look at the Supreme Court, we know that it's a part of the judicial branch of the government in the United States, and it ensures the promise of equal justice under the law. Equal justice under the law. See, that's important for us to understand. We're looking for the Supreme Court or the legal system, or which is the law system, the system of the law, to provide something that it's not designed to provide. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Equal justice under the law. Is it justice? Let's talk about it. Now, when we start talking about the position of the Supreme Court, we understand that Congress holds the jurisdiction over the federal government, or of the federal government over the Supreme Court. So, So when we look at this, the Congress helps to keep the Supreme Court in check in some ways. And we do that. We do that through legislation. We do that through also electing our officials. So it becomes very important to understand that. But that gets into another area that we're going to talk a little bit more when we get there. So there are people protesting right now the rulings of the Supreme Court. Well, how do we remedy that? Well, we're going to talk about it in a few minutes. But one thing that we need to do is to understand that the election process through our Congress people, our Congresspersons, our congressmen and women, help us to substantiate the direction of our culture legally and legitimately. So it's important that we vote, and we vote for people that support our interests. Okay, now there's one thing that seems to be constantly coming up in the news and in the media, and is voter registration and the importance of registering to vote. Some of the problems that have arisen as a result in some communities relative to voter registration illegalities, and so in proper procedures for voter registration. So there's a lot going on around that, but that's the important piece of helping to assist the Congress in managing the Supreme Court. So that's important. That's an important aspect that we need to remember, that the importance of voting cannot be underestimated. Again, when we start talking about the position of the Chief Justice, the Supreme Court justices, there is a new Supreme Court justice that has not taken the bench yet. Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was the first Black female, but won't take her seat up on the Supreme Court until the next session. So she did not get a chance to vote, or I don't believe she got a chance to vote. I wouldn't think that she would if she wasn't sitting, but I could be wrong about that. But she won't take her seat until to October 3rd, 2022, and then she will become an active Supreme Court justice. Now, the position that seems to be concerning people regarding the Supreme Court is that it seems to be a more conservative court. And some people have issues with a conservative court. And the truth of the matter is, regardless of what kind of court we have, someone's not going to like it. Someone's not going to like it, because there's no way that you can please everyone. What I will say is this: that the pendulum has a tendency to swing one way and go that way for a while, and then will eventually start going back to the other way. And where if you don't like it now, then maybe you'll like it a little bit later. And I think that's indicative of how the justice or the legal system works in this realm, in order for people to experience what they call a fair legal system. And it may not seem fair now, but it may seem fair later. It's one of those kinds of things where it goes one way for a while and then adjusts and goes the other way. And what we do see a lot of is that there are extremes. It goes one way, extreme for a while, and then eventually goes another way, and it eventually goes to the extreme in that way. But somewhere in those extremes lie a happy medium. But we experience that for a moment, but it's always something that's fleeting and something that doesn't sustain itself for a time, because there is no, even in the medium, people are going to complain. So the universe tries to reach and touch everyone, even if it's just in certain areas, and it's not going to be, everything is not going to go your way. It's not going to go my way. I'm not going to like everything. You're not going to like everything. That's just the way it is. But what we've got to learn and to understand is that woven into the fabric of this universe is justice. Justice is woven in, and it's intentionally woven into this realm by the universe. So justice will be received, but just not in the way that you want it, or not in the way that I want it all the time. But justice is here. Justice is here. So when we look at the position of the legal system in America, it's important to understand that it is a legal system and not a justice system. When we looked at what the court ensures, that the promise of equal justice under the law is for each and every individual, that we all receive. And then when we do that, because of the pendulum of legal, and it's not justice. It's not justice. It's legality. It's legitimacy, lawfulness, and what has been made lawful. And that's what we're experiencing. We're experiencing the pendulum going in another direction, so that others on the other end of the spectrum will receive what the others were receiving. Now, those on that end won't like it, but now it's the opportunity for everyone to experience the sweeping of legality within the system, the legal system here. And even though we may not like the outcomes that we're experiencing at this particular moment. Now, let's talk about the purpose of the legal system. And in doing that, I want to look at that definition that I gave you, that ensures the promise of equal justice under the law, equal justice under the law. And I don't like the word justice. I really don't like the word justice, but justice really actually means fair treatment, behavior, fair play, and the idea of fairness, impartiality, especially with regard to punishment of wrongdoing. So the whole idea of justice is about treatment. It's about treatment. Okay, justice is really not about treatment. Justice is how do I explain justice? It's a principle. It's a principle. Yes, it's woven into the fabric of this universe. And I say that because justice will always reign supreme, even if the laws do not match or doesn't seem to substantiate what is law, what is justice. For instance, slavery. Slavery was legal by law, but justice did not line up. Okay, the universe of justice did not line up, and as a result, the pendulum eventually was swung by justice, swung from one end to the other, and it continues to do that. And so when it does that, even rest assured, wherever it goes, it will not stay there. It will not stay there. It will eventually swing in the other direction. Because again, justice, not legality, but justice is sewn into the fabric of this realm. And so even though our laws may be unjust or without justice, and they are yet are legal, still justice is in operation, always in operation, never ceases to operate and to function, because it is the fabric of which this universe is built. We've got to remember that. Fighting against each other, trying to force the pendulum to move in the other direction is fruitless, because the universe dictates how it swings, whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not, the universe will dictate how fast, how long that pendulum will swing, and how far it will go. Well, let's look at the purpose. Now, we're looking at the promise of equal. Now, see, we talked about equal in another one of my broadcasts, and we talked about equal. See, we have a tendency to think that equal is the same. Well, no, equal is not the same, not in the literal sense of there is no same. Everything is different. Even twins are different. Everything is different. You are an original. You are an original. There is nothing, no one like you, and never will be anyone like you. You are a Renoir, a Rembrandt. There's nothing, you are a masterpiece. Nothing or no one will ever be like you. Never. And that being said, it's important to know that equal has nothing to do with sameness or likeness of each other in the natural. Okay? Now, okay, we biologically, but we are more than what we are biologically constructed and designed. We're more than that. So equal, listen to me, I said this before. Equal speaks to value. Men and women are equal, but not the same. Men and women are equal, but not the same. What does that mean? That means we are of the same value, but not the same, because we all bring something different. What is that difference? Purpose. We all bring purpose, a different purpose, an individual purpose, like a thumbprint. Every individual has a unique thumbprint, right? So we bring that value that we bring is our purpose. And that value that we have is equal amongst us all, because each and every one of us have a purpose, and that purpose is neither greater or less than anyone's. It's of the equal value, the same value. It has the same value. If we put any and everybody's purpose on one end of the scale, and we put someone else's on the other side, they will be equal. They will be equal. They're equal but they're not the same. That's why it's important for us to find purpose. So when we start talking about the promise of equal value, the value of fair treatment, right, under the law, which is our system of rules and regulations, that's what we're supposed to experience here through our legal system. Here's the problem. We're looking for justice through a system that is not designed to give and bring justice. It's not. It's to bring legality. The Supreme Court is not to bring justice, even though they use the word justice. They're not ensuring justice. They're ensuring the promise of equal legal or legality, a legitimacy, or lawfulness under the law. We've got to understand this, because if we would understand this, we won't get upset by the things that we see taking place. Sure, sure. I understand. I understand. But what we do is the angst, the anger, the hostility that we are experiencing. The truth of the matter is, it hurts you more than it hurts anyone else because it eats up at us. It robs us of our peace. It robs us of our faith. It robs us of our right as people that have a purpose that should be going about fulfilling your purpose and believing and understanding that the universe has balance and is justice. There's justice in it. But what we are trying to do is we try to invoke fear. We try to invoke hostility in order so that we can rush the pendulum changing and switching and moving to the other side. You can't do it. You can't do it because the universe is not the author of fear. Fear doesn't come from the universe. Fear comes from us, from humans trying to get other humans to fear. And it's because they fear that they want you to fear, because misery loves company. But we have a confidence of fearlessness. We have a mindset of powerfulness, of ability, and that ability is our purpose. That ability to change our community, culture, and clan, to change the very environment with our purpose. But you have to find it first, right? You have to find it first. So when we look at what laws are, see what we've got to understand what laws are. Laws are our regulations or our rules of how we operate and function. Now, these rules or regulations that regulate our actions and penalize those that violate, those rules should and will change as the pendulum swings. They will change. So we think that it's because of certain people in the Supreme Court. If we put these type of people in the Supreme Court, well, you really don't know what type of people you're putting in the Supreme Court, because they're going to say and do whatever they need to do and say to get into that office. And then once they get in there, because they're in there for the rest of their lives, which I think is a grave mistake and cannot be removed. That is what I believe is a real problem. There should be a term limit and a time limit. But hey, we have what we have for right now, and with that, it doesn't negate the fact that justice is still within the universe. Now, the other thing that is said, I'm going to back up, and because there's something else that's said about the Supreme Court. And one of the things that it says about the Supreme Court is this, that they are guardians and interpreters. Guardians and interpreters. Wow. That is some statement there. They are guardians and interpreters. It's important that we understand that what they are guardians and interpreters of. They are guardians and interpreters of the Constitution. Now, the Constitution isn't all, because we also know that they also there are other documents that help them in making decisions, that whether they would be state laws or whatever. But that's not what we were talking about. We're talking about the fact that the Supreme Court are guardians. A guardian is a defender, a protector, or keeper. Now, what do they keep? Okay, they keep the constitutional law. They keep the legal system. They keep the judicial system in hopefully balancing the legal system as the pendulum makes those swings. The Supreme Court helps to navigate us through as we swing with the pendulum as it changes from one extreme to the other. So they're protectors, they're interpreters, and so an interpreter is one who explains, clarifies, and expounds, and translates the execution of law, ideas, principles, and standards. So their job is to provide explanation and clarification. Now, what's concerning about that is because even with that, them being interpreters, as a part of being an interpreter, you're still a person, an individual, and you bring your own ideas, thoughts, paradigms, conceptions, misconceptions to the table, because we're human, and so are the Supreme Court justices. But they are our judicial system that is in place, because imagine what it would be like if we didn't have them. It would be sheer and utter chaos. And some people think that that's what we're experiencing now. But I dare say that it would be worse without the Supreme Court. I can't say that I like everything that they do. I don't think that I ever will. But who will? No one will. But yet they still serve a purpose, a valuable purpose, in maintaining the stability and the equilibrium within the justice system, the legal system, within this realm we live. It allows justice to execute itself within this system. Okay? It allows it to do that. Now let's talk about the power of the Supreme Court, or the power of the legal system. And we all know that it comes, for the Supreme Court, it comes from the Constitution, right? Article 2, it says that the justice power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court, and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Although the Constitution establishes the Supreme Court, it permits Congress to decide how to organize it. Now, so the power of the court has to have a checks and balances. Everything needs checks and balances. And so we have a Congress to help provide checks and balances for the court so that it doesn't get out of hand. But at the same token, the Supreme Court provides judicial power. Judicial power. Okay? And it's important that we understand that this judicial power comes with certain tasks. And one of the tasks is that they have to interpret the meaning of laws. That's what they have to do. And that's their job, to interpret the meaning. And sometimes we will agree and sometimes we will not. And currently right now, there are some things on the table that many people aren't agreeing with, whether that be with the Miranda rights, or with the gun laws, or with the abortion, the reversal of Roe v. Wade, or you name it, whatever else that's going on. All of these things that we're facing, and the power that they have to bring to the table is that to interpret the laws that would govern those particular issues. Now, you're not going to agree with everything. You may not agree with anything, but this is the system that we have here in the United States. Now, another task of the Supreme Court is judicial review. Now, this is the ability to declare a legislative or executive act in violation of the Constitution. Now, that's important because they have to review things, legislative and executive acts, to see if it goes against the Constitution. They hold up the law or the legislation, and they hold up the Constitution, and they make a determination as to whether it's in line with or out of line with the Constitution. Now, here's what's that I think that's very, very important for us to understand. The Constitution is the source document for how the country here is founded, and it is the source document for this country on how it is to function and operate, how this country legally is to operate and to function. Not morally, but legally, because the Supreme Court and the legal system does not entertain morality. It entertains legality, right? So what's important to understand is this. Similar to the Constitution being the source document for the Supreme Court, the biblical narrative is a source document for everyone living. The source document for everyone living. Everything has a source document. There has to, what does the source document provide? A foundation. The Constitution provides a foundation. The biblical narrative provides a foundation, morally and spiritually, not religiously. Because the biblical narrative is not a religious document. We've talked about it. Look at some of our other broadcasts. You'll see what I mean by that. But it's important for us to know that the Constitution and all primary sources give it to fulfill its purpose and plan. The Constitution gives these laws teeth, legitimacy. And it's important for us to know that. Once a mindset has been established, judgment should be made in line with that mentality. Because just like the Constitution does not address every single situation, neither does the biblical narrative. But what do they both do? They both are designed to establish and to maintain a particular mindset, way of thinking. And with that way of thinking, in line with that way of thinking, if we stay within the parameters and the boundaries, it lead us in how to make decisions in the gray areas that are not black and white by the Constitution. Same thing with the biblical narrative. The biblical narrative gives us that guidance and establishes those boundaries morally and spiritually for what we perceive as gray areas. In those ways, the legal system has parroted, right, or mirrored the spiritual, in that the biblical narrative provides that which the Constitution has mirrored from it. Now, the Supreme Court is a human entity. It is not a spiritual entity. We understand that it's not meant to be. It is meant to be a human entity designed to fulfill legal, legitimate, and lawful compliance to the established legal system. That's what it does. That's what it does. We've got to stop looking for justice in the legal system, because the legal system is not designed for justice. Justice is in and will occur no matter what. Justice will occur. Justice will occur. Again, the Supreme Court is designed to fulfill legal, legitimate, and lawful compliance to the established legal system. So what the Supreme Court, the American system, is designed to do, whether we like the laws or not, the Supreme Court has to fulfill compliance to the laws within the legal system as best as they possibly can, whether we agree or not. But just rest assured, wait a while. If you're still here, it'll change. It never stays the same, does it? When does it stay the same? It doesn't. It's not designed to. Okay? It's not designed to. The Supreme Court is designed to help establish into governance and dominion, is to establish governance and dominion in the earthly realm through legitimate, established legal means. And what we do is it allows us to, what the Supreme Court does is allow us to establish the governance, the government that's necessary to rule this. Because if we don't have it, it'll be chaos. It'll be chaos. But the legal system, the Supreme Court, helps us to maintain sanity in some shape, form, or fashion, whether we like it or not. Okay? The Supreme Court is not a divine entity. It is an earthly legal entity designed, created, and implemented by legal understanding, imagination, and ideas. It's because of that, or it's because of this, that not all judgments rendered will reflect divine inspiration, driven or divine inspiration driven or carried out. It is, however, the most immediate accepted means of determining equal legality under the established laws. So what it does is it means that the legal system is designed to help determine equal legitimacy, legality under the established laws. So if the laws change, then so will the interpretations or the understandings and then the rulings. Okay? As those things occur, change will occur. Repentance will occur. However you want to call it. But the bottom line is the Supreme Court consists of frail, fallible, and mistake-ridden individuals. They're human, just like anyone else. They're going to make mistakes. They're not going to get it all right. They're going to do the best that they can, but they're not going to get it all right. But one thing is for sure. It's the best legal system that we have in this country right now. Could it be better? I believe it could. And I really do believe it can. But I believe more in justice than I do this system. I believe more in justice than I do in this system. And it's important for us to hold on to that. And because they're fallible and they're frail and they're mistake-ridden individuals, checks and balances are necessary. And that's one thing that we have to continue to ascertain to ensure that we have those checks and balances in place to ensure that people don't do the unimaginable, the heinous, right? The devilish and the demonic. So, and some would say that that's what we were doing and that's what we're doing or whatever. But no matter what we do, someone is not going to improve. Regardless of whatever way the Supreme Court goes, everybody's not going to be pleased, no matter what. Okay. Now, as I'm getting ready to close, I want to say this. We've got to stop looking for justice in a place where justice is not designed. The legal system doesn't offer justice. It offers lawfulness and that which is lawful or legitimate. The legal system is designed to sustain, maintain, and reinforce that which is legal, politically, and personally, and professionally beneficial to the community, culture, and clan. So these people that are sitting on the bench are not perfect, but are doing the best that they can. Now, do we criticize it? Yes, and you're going to hear some of it in my upcoming videos, because there are some areas that are very concerning. They're very concerning. And as I meditate and mull over these, hopefully I'll come up with some answers, because right now some of the things that I'm seeing are very troubling and concerning. But I trust in justice. I lean on justice because I truly believe that justice is woven in the fabric of this universe. Now, that's it for tonight. And I hope that you got something out of it. I sure hope that you, what I wanted you to be able to do, again, is I want you to subscribe, and I want you to hit the notification bell, right? And I want you to, I wanted to add the website and the email address that's tickering down at the bottom down there. See it down there? I just put that there for you. So what you could do is email me. It's fine. We can talk. We can, because we can have exchange. Iron sharpens iron. So if we can do that, I welcome it. I truly, truly do. So I appreciate you coming in and stopping in to visit with me. Looking forward to us being able to get together again. So until the next time, it's G Alpha Palmer, and I am out of here in a moment.